What is up, YouTube? It is your boy AMR Sports here, coming back at you with another MLB video, and today we're going to be talking about 4 teams that I am very worried about at the moment, and I'm not sure how they're going to be able to turn it around, but we're going to go over why these teams are struggling and how potentially they could turn it around later on in the year. Obviously, some teams have great starts, some teams have bad starts. The Braves got off to a bad start last year, and they won the World Series. 2019, the Nationals got off to a terrible start, and they won the World Series. So a slow start doesn't really mean much, but some of these teams I'm starting to get really worried about, and we're going to go over why. If you guys like daily MLB content, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and leave a like to help this reach as many baseball fans as possible. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We just hit 1,500. I appreciate you guys. Only about 7% of you guys that watch these videos are subscribed, so it really means a lot to me if you would hit that subscribe button for me. But without further ado, let's get into the video and start talking about all 4 of these teams. Starting off with a team up north in Canada, the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays, as you can see, are 17-16 right now, so they don't have the worst record in baseball, which is why I'm not super worried about this team. I think they will be able to turn it around, but my God, are they off to a rough start, man. 2-8 in their last 10. They've been getting beat up by in-division teams. They lost to the Rays yesterday. They got beat up by the Yankees pretty bad. Overall, they just have not been playing up to their potential, and it's starting to worry me a little bit. The main reason is because of how they hit with runners in scoring position. So the Blue Jays are pretty decent offensively. They're about league average when it comes to WRC+, posting a team WRC+ of 99, but once you put them in scoring position, they go all the way down to last in baseball with a 61 WRC+. They just cannot hit when there's runners in scoring position. They don't get on base, they strike out a ton, they don't walk a ton, they don't hit a ton, they just can't do anything right now. You look at a team like the Angels that are winning a ton of games right now, 160 WRC+ with runners in scoring position, 304 BABIP, they get on base a ton, 370 on base percentage. Look at all the good teams, how they hit with runners in scoring position. The Yankees are 7th with runners in scoring position. The Rays are 6th. The Dodgers are 4th. The Guardians and the Brewers are kind of interesting, but overall, you have to hit with runners in scoring position, and that is the big flaw with this Toronto Blue Jays team right now. You can't be dead last with runners in scoring position offensively. It just can't happen. And with the good players that they have right now, you would really think that they'd be able to hit with runners in scoring position. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a stud, Bo Bichette's a stud, all that. But look at the runs above average. So this is how many runs they would score versus the average team. Average would be 0, and then below average would be negative, obviously. You got the Guardians and the Angels tied with 18.4 runs above average with runners in scoring position. And then way down at the bottom, there's only 2 teams with double digits, and we're going to talk about one of them in just a second, but the last team in dead last with runners in scoring position, negative 12 runs above average. So the average team would have 12 more runs scored with runners in scoring position than the Toronto Blue Jays. They have just been absolutely atrocious when it comes to runners in scoring position, and that's what they really got to turn around if they want to improve. I'm not super worried about this team, which is why I have them 4th, because I think they will be able to put it together. But right now, man, they are really struggling to hit when it comes to runners in scoring position. Next up, we've got an NL East team, and honestly, I could just say every team in the NL East besides the Mets I'm worried about right now. I think the Phillies are off to a rough start. I think the Braves are off to a rough start. I think the Marlins are better than they've been playing. Overall, I think this whole division is playing pretty bad, but the Atlanta Braves obviously are the team that we expected to be the best, which is why I'm the most worried about them. So the main problem with the Braves so far has really been their starting pitching. They rank 8th highest in FIP among pitchers, which is fielding independent pitching. It doesn't factor the defense in behind them. They're allowing about 4.25 earned runs every 9 innings or so, and they are 7th when it comes to starter ERA as well. So the FIP and the ERA are kind of matching right now, and they're just not really getting it done on the mound. And their bullpen, I feel like every time I look, their bullpen is blowing a game, but their bullpen's actually been fantastic when it comes to FIP. They have the lowest FIP in all of baseball at 2.87. They are the only team with a FIP under 3. So their bullpen's been fantastic, but they haven't really been getting the results they deserve, as you can see with their FIP about a full point lower than their ERA. So hasn't really been getting it done, haven't been getting the results they deserve when it comes to relief pitching, and then their starting pitching just hasn't been fantastic. Charlie Morton struggled quite a bit. Max Fried has had a few shaky starts. Kyle Wright's starting to come back down to earth. Ian Anderson hasn't looked great. They just haven't been solid when it comes to starting pitching, and while their offense is good, it's not good enough to make up for that. As you can see, they are exactly in the middle when it comes to runs scored, 15th in all of baseball with 137 runs scored, tied with the Astros and the Nationals, ironically enough. Kind of a weird mix there among them. But overall, man, they just have not been doing that well. They don't walk a ton, 8.9 walks, and walk percentage, sorry, and then 25.1 strikeout percentage. So they're striking out a lot. They're not getting on base a ton. The starters are giving up a lot of runs, and the bullpen's been getting unlucky. So tough look for the Braves right now. I do think they can turn it around a little bit, but I don't know if they're going to be able to catch up to the scorching hot Mets right now. Next up, I kind of want to go over both of these teams together, 2-1. We've got the Boston Red Sox, the last place 12-20 Boston Red Sox that made the ALCS last year, and then the 15-16 Chicago White Sox. Now, 12-20 in the AL East is honestly a little bit better than 15-16 in the AL Central, I'll be honest. Because the AL Central is a lot less competitive than the AL East is, obviously. The Red Sox got to take on teams like the Yankees, the Rays, the Blue Jays, while the White Sox really aren't playing any competitive teams right now. They have two of the worst teams in their baseball in their division. The White Sox, or the Guardians, aren't that great. And even the Twins, they've been playing the best, but they're still not that great of a team. So overall, the White Sox and the Red Sox are both bugging me right now. Let's see what's going on with them. Now, just as simple as it gets, they're just not scoring runs. They are both bottom 5 in runs scored, and these are teams that we expected to have very good offensive numbers. You know, the White Sox guys with Luis Robert, Tim Anderson, a former MVP in Jose Abreu. Eloy Jimenez is obviously injured right now, but Yohan Moncada is great. Yasmani Grandal is great. They got a stacked lineup over there in Chicago, and same thing with the Red Sox. They acquired Trevor Story, we thought was going to be huge. Kike Hernandez was the best player in the postseason. Overall, both of these teams should be putting up a ton of runs, and they are 26th and 28th, respectively. I will say they have played a few less games, so to take it with a grain of salt, they'd probably have a few more runs scored than maybe the Pirates or Oakland. But obviously, both these teams are in states that get a little bit worse weather, and they don't have indoor stadiums or stadiums with roofs. But overall, they just have not been scoring a lot of runs. They're not hitting well. Their team WRC Plus is in the toilet as well. The Red Sox ranked 27th, while the White Sox ranked 23rd. They are just not hitting at all. And when it comes to bullpens, the White Sox have been super disappointing when it comes to bullpens. They are about league average. We expected this to be the best bullpen in all of baseball. They are league average when it comes to fielding independent pitching, and then 10th highest bullpen ERA. So they just have not been very good to start the year. I don't know what's wrong with them. Liam Hendricks is off to a rough start. Who's the other guy? Aaron Bummer's off to a pretty slow start. The only guy who I think is reliable in this bullpen right now, Kendall Graveman, the guy they got in the offseason, he's been pretty much their only reliable reliever, and that's really tough look, especially with Garrett Crochet on the injured list. It's gonna be tough for these White Sox to climb back in it, but like I said, they are in a very weak division, so I have a lot more faith in the White Sox coming back up and winning that division than I do in the Red Sox becoming a playoff team. Both of these teams have had similar struggles. They're not hitting, and their pitching, honestly, the Red Sox pitching has been performing way better than I expected it to. Overall, the Red Sox are about league average when it comes to pitching staff ERA, and about league average when it comes to FIP as well. So the pitching's been performing a lot better than I expected the Red Sox to, but their offense has been atrocious. So both of these teams, man, I don't know if they're ever going to get it together. The Red Sox might be a big candidate to sell at the trade deadline, trade away pieces like Xander Bogaerts and maybe some pitchers as well, because Matt Strahm and Jake Diekman and whatnot have been very good this season. So it's going to be a very interesting look to see. So those are the 4 teams I am most worried about this season so far. Let me know down in the comments if you are worried about these teams as well, or which team you are most worried about. I might make a part 2 to this video to talk about teams that I am not worried about, teams off to hot starts that I think can sustain it, like the Yankees and whatnot. But overall, these 4 teams, man, are really starting to worry me. I had to make a video about it. I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.